and 16 shots. That is not service, that is murder. Samson was a very young man who had not yet found his purpose. Samson had not yet determined what his calling or his destiny or his destination was. Samson was just living life based on his passions alone. Yet it is through his passions, both good and bad, that he comes into his purpose. He is a predestined individual that God has predestined to do certain things in life. But Samson stumbles into his destiny. And some of you brothers and sisters in here tonight are going to end up stumbling into your destiny. And I know that it can be perplexing, it can be difficult, and it can be stressful because a lot of brothers have HIV. You didn't catch that. You didn't catch that. I said a lot of us brothers have HIV. And I'm not talking about what you think I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the human immunodeficiency virus. In Judges 16 and 21, it says that the Philistines took him and put out his eyes. So he was blind. And it is there that I get the HIV that I see in many men and women today. The HIV of which I speak is having insufficient vision. Having insufficient vision. When you suffer from HIV, it can hinder you from your destiny because without a vision, the people perish. Oh, I wish I did have time to tell you everything that God told me to tell you. But brothers, you're not going to be it until you can first of all see it. If you want to do the impossible, you've got to see the invisible. And we're here tonight and we are under attack. And if we have ever needed clear vision before, we need clear vision tonight. If we've ever needed action, we need it tonight. If we sit back and allow certain people to get in office, it will be open season on black and brown folk. I'm not going there. Let me get back. Let me get off. Now I call on our current president, President Barack Obama, who in my opinion, I'm entitled to it, is the greatest president in the history of this nation. Facing the opposition he's had to face. When you look at what he has accomplished, he is, in my opinion, the greatest president we've ever seen. And I hope that Mr. Obama will meet with a delegation of preachers and talk about what can be done now and after he leaves office. President Obama is the first sitting president to visit a U.S. prison. Amen belongs there. Amen belongs there. And so, my brothers and sisters, Samson is a Hebrew boy. Born at a time when the Philistine government has seized the Hebrew property and the people. The Hebrew people are under siege, and yet this boy Samson has the audacity, the nerve, the temerity, the unmitigated gall to choose a woman. He has the bodacious temerity to choose a Philistine woman. It was ridiculous, it was preposterous, it was unheard of for a Hebrew boy who was under siege by the Philistines to dare to think that he could marry a Philistine woman. And Samson's parents were not pleased with this decision. My brothers and sisters, have you ever dated somebody and your parents were not pleased with your decision? That's another message. We ain't going there. But I don't have time to exegete the text, and I wish I did have time to talk more about Samson's complex and complicated backstory. I'd love to talk more about Samson's life and his passions and the things that drove him. But I'm hurrying to a close. His parents were not pleased. But the Bible says that they knew not that it was the Lord. Let me hear you say, they knew not that it was the Lord. And I thought to myself, wait a minute, hold it. If it was the will of God for Samson to want this woman, then why did the relationship not work? I finally found out that sometimes the will of God will lead you right into a storm. It'll lead you right into trouble. It'll lead you right into a wreck. And it is very often in that storm, in that jail cell, in that prison cell, in that duress, in that stress, that you will find your purpose. Some of us in here tonight, have been in jails and in prisons. Oh God, we're here tonight because some of you are about to find your purpose. You are ordained to be here tonight. You didn't just stumble up in here. God brought you up in here tonight. Tell somebody and tell them, this is a Samson moment. The steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, and it's not just his good steps, but God even uses bad steps to get you into place and into position where he can use your life. I'm skipping. But God did not mean for this relationship to work. He meant for this relationship to fail. And he meant for this relationship to move Samson into a position so God could use him in another dimension. And some of y'all right now are in relationships that God did not intend for that relationship. Oh, I'm not going there. It was in a prison cell that Joseph learned how to be a prince. And his prison experience got him ready for the palace. And a lot of us in here tonight have been in jails and in prisons. And once they convict us wrongly or rightly of a rape, of a murder, of a robbery, of a drug deal, they expect us to get out of jail and bail. They want you to spend the rest of your life wounded, ashamed, and embarrassed because of what you went through. But if Joseph could sit up in a prison, wrongly convicted of a sex crime, get out of that jail cell and become the prince of Egypt, then my question is, what's wrong with you and me? Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in prison. 27 years. He went into prison, and when he got there, black people could not even vote in South Africa. When he got out of prison, he became the president of the same country that he couldn't vote in when he went in. Prison got inmate Mandela prepared to become President Mandela. Some of you are on parole and on probation, and you've been walking around with your head down. Well, Sherman D. Manning came to tell you tonight, hold up your head, square your shoulders. You are a blessed man and a blessed woman. If Jonah had not gone into the belly of a whale and got out, he probably wouldn't even be in the Bible. The Apostle Paul was a jailbird and a thug and a killer and a gangster and a convicted felon. Half the Holy Bible was written by ex-cons and ex-felons. You better get up off your hind part and make something happen tonight. Don't tell me about your prison sentence. Don't tell me about your felony record. Don't you know we serve the Most High God? I'm skipping. Your prison state can move you into a position to be used by Almighty God. Hold up your head, my brother. Hold up your head, my sister. You are the best and the brightest. You are what Martin Luther King Jr. died for. You are what Harriet Tubman fought and cried for. You are what Malcolm X taught for. You are what Hosea Williams fought for. You are the sons and daughters and grandsons and granddaughters of kings and queens. You are God has chosen you to be in this church at this time, at this particular juncture. He passed over Mahatma Gandhi. He passed over Martin Luther King Jr. He passed over Harriet Tubman. He passed over Nelson Mandela. And he chose you to be in this place at this time. God has a plan for your life. Y'all sit down. I got to do this. The preacher in me is fighting with the teacher in me, but I got to get this out of me tonight. And so God has a purpose for your life, and God is not through with you yet. Your prison cell can catapult you into God's divine destiny for your life. He set it up and then he set it off so that he can orchestrate your life into position so he can use you to make it happen. And God is about to shift some things. Lord, I wish I had time. Now, Samson was hurt by this woman. And Samson was hurt bad by this woman. And I know there ain't no brothers in here tonight who's ever been hurt bad by a woman. But Samson wouldn't have fought that hard if Samson hadn't hurt that bad. And look at the times in your life when you wouldn't have fought that hard if you hadn't been hurt that bad. And black men are hurting tonight. So it's time to start fighting tonight. And we don't need to fight with weapons, and we don't need to fight with guns, and we don't need to fight with gangs, for the weapons of this warfare are not carnal. It's time for us to use our brains and fight this devil that's after us. I don't know who I'm preaching to tonight, but somebody needs this word tonight. Everything you have gone through in your life has set the stage for where God is taking you to in your life. You had to go through that in order to get to this. Tell somebody and say, you're going somewhere, you're going somewhere, you're going somewhere, you're going somewhere. Even if you're in your 80s or your 60s or your 70s, God is still pushing you through your pain, pushing you through your opposition, pushing you through your struggle, strengthening you through your fights. God knows exactly what to do to provoke you into your destiny. Sometimes there's people telling you that you're stupid, that makes you study. Sometimes there's people telling you that you're dumb, that makes you smart. Sometimes there's people calling you a nobody, that makes you become a somebody. Sometimes there's people holding you down that teaches you how to get up and fight. God gives you the right problem to birth your passion so that you can go after your purpose. So even though you might be broke right now, even though you might be in pain or in a problem right now, God is moving you into your destiny. Tell somebody and say, I receive that, I receive that, I receive that. You might not have anything in your hand right now, but God, on Samson's way to meet this Philistine woman, by surprise, a young lion came out of nowhere. And I wonder tonight, have you ever been living your life minding your own business, and by surprise a problem came out of nowhere? By surprise your son got locked up. By surprise your daughter got pregnant. By surprise your husband started cheating. By surprise a problem came out of nowhere. And now this lion was a challenge, but the challenge before him provokes the power within him. The challenge before us as we look for ways to stop these killings, the challenge before us must provoke the power within us. The lion roaring against him is the first time that Samson becomes aware of what's in him. Some of you don't even know what's in you. You don't even know what's in you tonight. If it was not for the roaring of the lion, there would not have been a release of the power of God. Stop asking God to stop the lions from roaring. For it is the roaring of the lion that releases the power of the person. So when God puts a lot of power in you, God will send a lot of lions to you. Because the lions that come to